Okay, good evening. We're up to Mem Zayin Amid Beis. Mem Zayin Amid Beis. The Mishnah had said there are different cases where the Rabbanan made a shvua that you're going to go ahead and swear and take. So we went through the worker, we went through the Gazlan, the Nigzal, we went through the Nechbal, we went through the Choshev al Shvua, and finally we're getting to the one that Chenvani al Pinkaso, the Chenvani al Pinkaso. So there were two cases, Chenvani al Pinkaso, where uh, the Chenvani, the Balabas told the Chenvani to pay workers, and the workers claimed that the Chenvani claimed he got it, the workers claimed they never received it. So there was a few days. One day it was that they both swear, right? And Benanis did not like that because one of them is going to swear Shvuah Shav. In other words, according to the first day, the Balabai on both accounts, he's going to lose to pay the worker, and he's going to have to pay the Chenvani. On the other hand, says Benanis, who's going to swear? Nuhu Noitel Shlei B'Shvuah, that the the Chenvani is going to get without a shvua, and the workers they will get with a shvua. Okay, those were the two opinions. So now we're beginning. Tanya, Rebbe, says Rebbe. We're starting from Mem Zayin Amid Beis, right in the middle of the page. There's two dots. Right, Chenvani up in Kasei. Tanya, Rebbe. Tayreach Shvu Lama. The tircha of the shvua, what do we need this for? Says Rashi. What do you mean tareach shvua? What are we discussing over here? Shneim boyin lebezdin. You're going to have the chenvani and the workers come to bezdin. Shetetzi shvua shava mebinehem. That guarantee that one's going to swear falsely. Like Pirish Rebbe my svirale. Rebbe doesn't say what he held like. He noitlim b'lei shvua keben nanis. Does he hold like what? Like Benanis that you get without a shvua? Or he loses and with the shvuas of the poilim. Okay, and that's those. What did Rebbe hold? Did Rebbe hold that like Benanis that they take without a shvua? Or that the Chenvani is going to lose because he's going to go into and make the shvua of the poilim are going to make the shvua. Amalei Reb Chia, Tanina, Shneim Nishbayim V'Noitlin Mi Balabayis. That it says they both swear and they collect from the balabayas, which is that's what you said. In other words, Rebbe, this is not what Rebbe said. Rebbe said, why should we matriach both of them? And Reb Chia says, we learn in a brisa that they both swear, right? We both swear, and they take. So now the Gemara wants to know kibbel minei. Was Rebbe makabel from Reb Chia? I like kibbel minei. Was he makabel? Tashma the Tanya Rebbe Omer, Poilim Nishboyim Lechenvani. The Poilim, they're going to swear to the Chenvani, meaning they're going to swear to Chenvani and collect. Now, if they were both making a shvua, it should say they should swear to the Balabayas. If they both make shvuas, guys, the Chenvani swears to the Balabayas and the Poilim swear to the Balabayas, right? Then Isa that they both swear the Balabayas mi boile. El is a raya that Rebbe did not have charata, that Rebbe did not hold a right. And what does he hold? The sphere chenvani yafsid. Rashi says shahoyloi lases lem be'edim. That what? Who's going to lose? The chenvani is going to lose. That he should have paid off him. So what was the dialogue? The dialogue was the chenvani up in Kasla. We saw the Mishnah. Ben Nana said, Tanakama said they both swear, and the balabos loses both hands. Ben Nana says, how can be shvua shav ela take without a shvua? And then his opinion that what? That the Pilim swear to the chenvani, right? So we want to know what Rebbe held. So Reb Chia said, we have a brisa. Brisa says they both swear. Now, was Rebbe makabel or not? Rebbe says, apparently says a case that what the poilim swear. Now, who they poilim swear to? The chenvani. Now, if Rebbe had charata and they're both swearing, the poilim be swearing to the balabas, not to the chenvani. So it's a raya that he did not agree with what Reb Chia is. He disagreed with that brisa. Rebbe could disagree with brisa. He's a tana. When you still balabais me boile, so Amarava, you have no raya from the brisa. Poilim nishboim lebalabayis b'mamud chenvani. The poilim they swear to the balabas to get their money with the chenvani there, in order that what, in case they're lying, they should be embarrassed. So Ken Zayin Rebbe did have charata, and Ken Zayin is going to swear to the Pailim are going to swear to the Balabas, and the Chavani is going to swear to the Balabas, and they'll both collect. Over here it says you swear to the Balabai, you swear to the Chenvani. It means you're swearing to the Balabayas in the presence of the Chenvani, because if they really had paid up the Chenvani, they might be embarrassed. So it says Rava, you have no riot from the Brisa. You wanted to say you have a riot from the Brisa, you have no riot, because this is Pshat in the Brisa, and therefore you have no riot.
First. The Poland swear first in front of the Chenvani. What's the Chenvani? What's he swearing to?
He's swearing that, but they're swearing that
They're swearing that they didn't get.
And he's swearing that he paid them. That's what Ben Nana says. That's what Ben Nana says. How can they both do Shvuah Shav? Right. That was his taina. So Elowat, right? They both collect without swearing. Again, that was Ben.
Poland might be embarrassing for the Chenvani. Once they swear, the Chenvani's not embarrassed to them swear the opposite from them. Isn't it the same svara?
Again, we're looking pshat in the brisa. What's the pshat in the brisa? You're not saying pshat in the brisa. The brisa says that they swear to the Chenvani. What's pshat in that brisa? So pashtud, if you swear to the Chenvani, it must be to collect from the Chenvani and not the Balabayas, and therefore Rebbe didn't have charota. Says Rava, you don't have a raya from there because this is pshat in the brisa. I only need one side. I only need the side that the poilim are swearing the presence of Chenvani. Ravi, we're saying pshat in the words of the brisa. You with me? Yeah. Good. Okay, now we're going to bring in a few cases, guys. I sent a chart out. Let's do the chart. It'll make things a lot easier. Okay, get the chart out. But again, before we get to the chart, you have the chart. And we're just going to begin the Gemara, and then we'll get to the chart. Okay, we're going to just begin the Gemara, and then we'll get to the chart. Okay. Itmar Shnei Kitei Edim in the Gemara, guys. Itmar Shnei Kitei Edim Hamachishe Zu Ezu. You have two sets of Edim. They go ahead, what? And they're machkish each other. They go ahead and one's lying, right? They said this guy owes money. They say this guy doesn't owe money. They're machkish each other. Amar Rav Huna, Zu Ba B'fnei Atzma Umeida Zu Ba B'fnei Atzma Meida. They both can testify in the future, meaning separately. Zeb B'fnei Atzma, this cat can testify separately, and this cat can testify separately. But you can't have one from both, because then you're guaranteed to have a liar. Again, if you have A, B, C, and D, and A and it's going to come from C, right? Or B and D, you're guaranteed to have a liar, right? Because good. So now that they can't do. Rav Chisda Amar, why do I need? In other words, they can never testify. Since I don't know which one is the liar, but I have a vadai liar over here, they can't testify. So again, says Rav Huna, for future references, they could testify. For future references, they could testify. For what? Says Rav Chisda, no. That's the machlokes. Now, the Gemara is going to give 4 scenarios and plug in Rav Chisda what and let's figure it out. We'll go look at the chart. Okay, the first scenario, you have these Eidim are signing, guys, on 2 separate shtaros for 2 separate people. So in other words, you have a malva and a loiva, and a malva and a loiva for 2 other people. In other words, it's not one set of Eidim is going on one shtar, one set of Eidim is going on another shtar. What's the din? According to Rav Huna, they're both kosher. Going across the top, guys. They're both kosher. Why? We said for future reference, they're good. Yeah? Says Rav Chisda, they're both pasulim. In other words, once they were makish each other, we don't believe them. That's easy, guys. Good? That's the easy case. Everyone has it? Good. Next. Malva echad, v'loiva echad. So in other words, you have 2 shtaros, but it's another guy, one guy lent twice the same person. It's not after the same person. No. One guy lent, right? He lent to another guy. Yeah, he lent to another guy, but there were two separate, so 2 shtaros. So now, one of the shtaros, and both Eidim sign on the shtar. Yeah? What would the din be? So one shtar, let's say one shtar is for $100 and one shtar is for $50. So that loiva cannot collect 100 Because chances are that what? Sicha, one of them's no good. Since both Eidim signed on it, one of them's no good. So Yad Balashtar Tachtoina. So the Malva, who's the Balashtar, has the lower hand, right? You understand that? Two shtaris. Zicha, one of the shtaris is puzzle because the two Eidim signed on it. And one of these set of Eidim are puzzle. One of them lied. So are you going to say it's on the 100 or on the 50? To nullify both, you can't do. Even Rav Chisda would say you can't do, guys. Even Rav Chisda would be Maida. You know why? It's the same guy, right? So you know what we're going to say? Yad Balashar Tachtoina, you can only collect the 50. So that's the second case. Yad Balashar Tachtoina, there you go. You got it across the board, right? Next case. You have two Malvin to one Loiva. So you have one person is a Loiva, and you have about two, and you have two Shtaris. So you have two separate people, and a Loiva owes to Ruvain and to Shimon, and two Shtaris. So, no, it's not the same case as case number two. It's the same as case number one. It's the same as case number one, right? Light Rav Huna, this kashal edis. Light Rav Chisda, since they're two separate Shtaris, to what? To two different Loiva, to two different Malvis. Okay, so that's the same as number one. Good. Now, the last scenario. Let's get the last scenario. You have one Malva and two Loivis, and Shtei Shtaris. You have one Malva and two Loivis and two Shtaris. So what's the din over there? So we'll see Rashi on that. That's Teku according to Rav Huna, and Ripasul according to Rav Chisda. So let's now we can go inside. The Gemara will go very Bez Hashem. The Gemara should go very well. Okay, says the Gemara. Shnei Malvin, Shnei Loivin, Ushnei Shtaris, Haina Pluktayu. That's the Machlaikis. Light Rav Huna, it would be Kasha. Light Rav Chisda, it would be Puzzle. Malva, Veloiva, you have one Malva, one Loiva, and Shtei Shtaris. Yad Balashtal Tachtoina, according to everybody. Again, Zicha, one of the Shtaris is no good. Zicha, one is good. We'll say that the more expensive one you can't collect with. You can collect what with the $50 in my scenario. Shnei Malvin v'loiva echad. This is the same case as the first one. Ushtei sharos. Hainamas nisan. That's the machlokes between the two of them. Beis lovin umalva echad. Ushtei sharos might take. Okay, so let's see this last one. You have two loivim and one malva. You have two lovim and one malva. So one malva. So says Rashi, 4 lines up. Haitzi malva zeh shtei sharos. Zuchasuma bezeh, v'zuchasuma bezeh. Mai. So you have a malva, two loives, one malva, two loives, and two shtaris from these Eidim. Now, Amrav Huna bezeh mi amrinon kivin dechad gavrahu demaisilahu lekaman. Since it's one person who's bringing in front of us the malva, loimiz dakin and lay. We won't go ahead and listen to it. Now, this is the reason why it should be different than another case. He's coming what? With the star that's puzzle. So you have two loivis, one malva. He's going to come, guys, and say, guys, what? He's going to come and say to this loiva, the guy says, it's puzzle edis. He's going to go to the other one and says puzzle edis. So each one can go, and this is the side why it's different than the other two cases. Dilma, kimin shnei lovim who might. Right, since it's two separate borrowers, who might see zuba, shnei lavim, who might see zuba umeida v'zuba meida. Rav Chisda lami boile. It's not a shayla because they can't testify. Da feel v'shnei malvim shnei lavim pasol. The kolsh came v'shnei lavim malva echad. So light to him, but Masha'en came light maybe light. So it's sad to say that it's no good. Is why, because each one can push off against the other, or the other side is it's no different than the other cases. Because since it's two separate stories, one of them must be good. So that one says Teku. Okay. Maser Rav Huna bar Yehuda back in the Gemara. Echad Oimer. Now we're dealing here with Kiddush HaChodesh, guys. We're dealing with Kiddush HaChodesh, and they're going to ask them how they saw the moon. They're going to ask you. They're going to ask you how you saw the moon. Echad Oiver Goiva. Beis Marda'os, One says that what it was high, whatever the mardois is, some type of measurement of a ox goad. They saw it in the horizon, and two ox goads. Vechelem is shalish. They do some kayemis. So it's 2 to 3 is not. It's not a discrepancy enough to say one is makish to the other. 2 to 3 is not enough of a discrepancy. That's not. Echadam and gimel vechad. Hey, 3 to 5. They do some betela. However, umitztarfin le'edis acheres. My love le'edis mamin. So guys, you have what? 2 edim, right? You have 2 guys. One guy says what? One guy says 3. One guy says 5. The chayrei puzzle now. The 2 kat edim. One's puzzle, right? Like Rav Chisda, should they be able to go testify? No, but it says mitzdarif. You could be mitzdarif, and my love is edis mamin. What did Rav Chisda say? Once we ascertain that one of them lying, they can't testify in the future. So one of them is lying over here. So it's a kashan Rav Chisda. You Rav Chisda, Rav Huna said what? Let them testify weiter. But like you that what? That it's what? It's like Rav Chisda, who says you can't testify because they're both, one of them is lying for sure. Why over here? Once they lied and Eidus Achadish, why can't? And we're saying it's Eidus Mamin. Amarav, no. Who ve'echem mitztarfen Eidus Acherish or Shchodesh? The Havilu Trei v'chad. In other words, let's say you have one of these Eidim now can be mitztarf with another Eid that's coming along. And so now he's leaving the one that he was with and he's going to another Eid. I guess they're saying he's now testifying a different testimony. 2 versus the one that he left behind. And so therefore the 2 versus 1 works, but it's not a kasha of Chisda because it's not speaking about being mitzdaref to Eidus Acheretz, it's being mitzdaref to Kiddush HaChodesh. Amlech Chenvani. Okay, now let's go back to the Mishnah on Memhei, guys. We dealt with the first case of the Chenvani. Memhei Amid Aleph. Okay, you see the Toisus and the Yasav Lo B'lei Shvua go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down after that. Amalek Chenvani, Tainli Bedina Paris. He says to Chenvani, give to me a dinar worth of Paris. And he gives it to him. Amaloi Tainli Oisadina, give me the dinar. Amaloi Nasativ L'cha, I gave it to you. Vinasatoi B'len Poli, and you put it in your purse. So he's saying, I gave it to you, and he's claiming I never got paid. The Balabaya swears that what? The Balabaya swears that he gave it to him, and showing that, and that's the case of what? Of Chenvani up in Kaslai, where it's Nishba v'Noitel. So the Balabaya swears that what? That he gave him the money, and the next case. Shenas Layasadina, Amaloi Tainli Asa Paris, Amaloi Nasativ L'cha, I gave you the Paris, V'alachtim L'taich Beis, and you took it home. Yeshava Chenvani, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Kol Paris Biyada Yada Al Yaina. Now, Yehuda is arguing the first case. The first case where he says, give me my money, and he said what? He says, I gave it to you already, and he's going to swear. Says Rabbi Yehuda, whoever has the Paris, swears. So in the first case where it says that what? That the Balabaya swears that he gave the dinar, Rabbi Yehuda says it depends, right? Since it's not the derech Chenvani to go ahead and sell something with this Chenvani obviously wants cash. He's not dealing with credit. So therefore, he would have to swear. The one who has it would have to swear. So it says Rabbi Yehuda, Kol Shaperes B'Yada Yada Ala Yoina. Whoever has the Paris, he has the upper hand. Okay? So in the case where Balabaya swears that he has the dinar, and again, according to this, Rabbi Yehuda says he doesn't have to swear. Why doesn't he have to swear? Because it's not the derech Chenvani to give it to him. The fact that he has it, he wouldn't have to swear. Where the Tanakama requires a shvur, he would not require a shvur. Why? Because he wouldn't have given it to him. Most Chenvani, you go to Eretz Yisrael, there's a makolit, there's a system where a credit system. They keep a petek. This Chenvani is not keeping a petek. So why in the world, if he's not keeping a petek, why would the fact that the balabas has it in his hands is a raya that he must have paid him, or else he wouldn't have given it to him? So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says he doesn't have to swear. The same case, guys, we have by the Shulchani. Amal Shulchani. He says to I'm doing the Mishnah. Amal Shulchani. He says to a money changer, Tainli bedina mois. He's switching a dinar. I'm giving you a silver dinar. Give me back a copper coins. V'nasan loy. Amalei tainli esadina. Amalei nasat. I gave it to you. V'nasan leben poili. Yishava balabayis, and then or the next case, Nasnei Sadina, Amaloi Tenli Asamois, Amaloi Satakle Vishachlan Teich. Chiska, you put in your case, Yishava Shulchani. Rabbi Yudaima ain't there Shulchani Litin Isal Shita Dina, and therefore balabayis would be believed not to swear. Okay, back in the Gemara, back by now. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda, Amasai says Rabbi Yehuda, Amasai. When, according to Rabbi Yehuda of our Mishnah, when does the balabayis swear? Bisman she'aperis siburin u'minachim u'shneim oirim aleihem. When the peiros are already in a corner, the peiros are in a corner, and they're not. In other words, it's not in the same. It's the peiros are put away over there. The peiros are over there. In that case, where the peiros are over there. So the balabayis, when does the balabayis have to swear that he gave the dinar? He says, "Man shaperis sibur munachim." It's shneim oirim aleim. And the Chenvoni says that they didn't get paid yet, and the balabayis said he got paid. Ava. So therefore, he would swear that he paid him. Aval if shila b'kupasei al chorav. If the balabayis already has it, then I might make a of a raya. So guys, you hear this? He's saying what? I gave you the peiros. He's saying I gave you the money. He's saying you never gave me the money. Balabayas swears and what? And takes the peiros. When is that? When does he swear and take the peiros? If only the peiros are not in his possession. Once the peiros are in his possession, then it will be on the chenvani hamaytz mechaver of araya. So he's qualifying this case. He's qualifying this case. Okay, back in the Gemara. Vitzricha. Now, you're good. Now, you had the exact same case by food, and you had the exact same case by money. Why are you repeating the case, guys? Why are you repeating the case? So Vitzricha, Diashminan hakamaisa, the case of fruit. Bahachka ami rabbanon. The other rabbanon say that the chenvani is apt to give it, and therefore, in other words, guys, the fact that this guy has it, right? L'chayra is more raya that it's his, right? So you know what? Why would the chenvani want to give it? In other words, if he didn't get his money, why would he give it? We say the following: Mishum de peri avidi nemarkeve. You know what happens? They get rotten. They get rotten. So what would he be apt to do? Give it to him without being paid. So therefore, it makes sense that the balabais has to swear. Mekivin nemarkeve le mashile is not going to wait around for his money. And therefore, that's why he gave it to him. And therefore, he says, pay up. But money that does not rot. Maybe that what? Maybe you be moided Rabbi Yehuda that the shulchani would not give him change unless you gave him, and nonetheless what? He still argues there. If you only tell him the case of shulchani, come Rabbi Yehuda. By rotting fruit, that perhaps he'd give it to him without being paid. Sricha, tell me no. In both cases, whoever has it, you get the balabais is going to swear. In the case where the balabais says that he gave the money. Now, okay, let's do the last part of the Mishnah again. It's such a long Mishnah, very interesting Masechta. They bring the whole parak in, and then they go through it. It's very interesting, interesting style. Yeah, all the Rashi's all over the place. Okay, good. The Tais is afilu katzatz nami, and go up 2 lines. Kishem she'amru hapoigemis ksubasa leitipara ela b'shvua. A woman comes to collect a ksuba. Ksuba is 200. The guy claims I paid. He says I only paid 100. So she's poigim the ksuba. She's saying that what? She's saying that ksuba wasn't paid. Then she'd have to swear that it wasn't paid, even though she's holding on to it, guys. Usually it's enough. She'd have to swear because she's poigim the ksuba by saying that what? Paid part of it. The Eirecha me'idna she perua, or an Eirecha testifies that she was paid part of it, like sipara ela b'shvua. And minachasim mishubadim, you want to collect from minachasim mishubadim, you need shvua. Uminachasim yisaimim like tifra ela b'shvua, to collect from yisaimim only b'shvua. V'anifra shalei b'fanav like tifra ela b'shvua. And if a woman's collecting the husband's overseas in the sense of a get with a shvua, v'cheina yisaimim le'iparu, yisaimim can't collect ela b'shvua. And what's the shvua? Shvua shlei piktenu abba, a shvua that our father did not tell us beforehand whether it was paid up or not. Right? The Shleimatzina means the rice of Shalabah Shashtaz Peru. We didn't find among daddy's documents a receipt that it was paid up. Good. That's. Let's see what we got. Kashem shama hapagemis ksubasa, v'chena yisaimim lo yiparu. Yisaimim should not collect. Now, yesterday, guys, if the Gemara is going to sound familiar, it was yesterday's Gemara, and if it doesn't sound familiar, it's because it was yesterday's Gemara. Miman, ilema miloiva. You're going to tell me what? That they can, from the loiva, meaning the Yisaimim are coming to collect from the loiva, yes? They'd have to make a shvua. Avu and shakal b'lei shvua. Their father is going to collect by that shvua. He's got a star. He's going to collect by that shvua. The inu b'shvua. So, fellas, when it says the Yisraelim have to make a shvua, it can't be speaking that what from the loiva himself. If the father showed up with a star, the loiva, the malva, and says, "I want to collect from you," he'd collect, right? He wouldn't have to make a shvua. So now he dies. They'd have to make a shvua? Why would they have to make a shvua? If the father's collecting about a shvua, so it doesn't make any sense. Says Gemara Hachi Kamar. It's not pshat that only Yisayim are collecting, only Yisayim are paying up. They're both. Now again, we have a rule, guys, that Yisayim, right? If you come to collect from the nechasim of Yisayim, you have to swear. In addition, there's a shvua that has nothing to do with the Yisayim. It has to do the shvuas ha-Yisayim. That's the shvua that our father didn't tell us it was paid up. That's the shvua we didn't find anything in the shtarais that it was paid up. Guys, listen. To get the Gemara, it's important. What I'm telling you now is the clue to the Gemara. There's two shvuas over here. There's one that's a classic and one that is mentioned only over here. What's the classic shvua? If someone's coming to collect from Yisayim, you have to make a shvua. Yeah, if someone's coming to collect from Yisayim, you have to make a shvua. That's if the so there's the loiva. If the loiva dies, now you're collecting from what? So you're collecting machmas guys, the loiva's kids. The shvua that we discussed in our Mishnah, Shalai Paktenu, Shalai Matzah ben Shtarais, is the shvua of the Malvis kids. Is the shvua of the Malvis kids. They're the one collecting. So there's two different shvuas over here. What we discussed yesterday and what we're going to say today is, if the chiyuv shvua that you have to make to the Lovis kids is there, right? Good. Then they're not going to be able to go ahead and collect. Why? Because he can't be moirish that shvua to them. They can make a shvua all the time that they didn't find anything among that. Daddy never said anything. We didn't find anything. They can make that shvua, but it won't give them right to collect, right? And that's the discussion over here. Like sifro el b'shvua, and we're going to say it's only speaking where the malva predeceased the lova. But when the lova predeceases the malva, and therefore the malva has a chiyuv, then it's a no go. And that's yesterday's Gemara. Says the Gemara. Miman, who are you collecting from? Ilema mi loiva. If you're going to collect from the loiva, avu and shakal b'lei shvua, v'enu b'shvua. So why in the world would the Yisayim have to swear? Hachi kamar. V'chena Yisayim min ha-Yisayim lo yifru el b'shvua. Now, Rav Shmuel Damet Travayu, lo yishanu el shemes milva b'chaye loiva. When would they have to make this shvua, guys? Guys, which shvua are they making? The shvua of the malva that they didn't find among the nechasim, right? The shvua of the malva. That's what when mace malva b'chaye loiva, and the loiva was still alive, so they weren't Yisayim yet. Aval mace loiva b'chaye malva. But if the loiva died in the lifetime of the malva, and the malva is going to have to swear. The malva is going to have to swear to collect from the Yisayim of the loiva. Kvar nischayev malva lebnei loiva shvua. So says Rabbi Shmuel that in that scenario they won't be able to collect. So Rabbi Shmuel in that scenario. Now, if this sounds familiar, this was yesterday's Gemara. He said that a shvua, chashel shvua, where they both can't swear. What's the din? Is chaz v'shvulim kaima. What did Rav and Shmuel, who the Rabbi saying of the Bavel? Chaz Sinai. Let Hashem take care of it because you can't collect. You can't collect. He's a chashid. He's a gambler. He's a malva baribis. Right? You can't collect. So what do? Hashem is going to take care of it. That was Rav and Shmuel. The Mela, this is the same case over here. You can't swear. You can't swear. That's it. Nothing. You lost. Okay? That was yesterday's Gemara. That's today's Gemara. That's Leisifu. They only collect. What do they collect from? They collect from Yisayim. And when the guys, and when the Yisayim collect from Yisayim, Ela b'Shvua, you know what Shvua was speaking about? We're speaking about the Shvua of the Malva. But if this Chiyav of the Shvua was there already, because the Loiva predeceased the Malva, they're not going to swear. I think it's better today than yesterday, a little clearer than yesterday. Okay, so that's Rav and Shmuel. Shalchua kamei de Rebbe Laza, Shvua zu mativa. What's the purpose of this shvua? Rashi, mativa lafgir memoinam. This shvua that they're making, that they don't know anything about it, they're going to take money. And men yachal mishava oisa shvua. If they can't make the shvua for the loiva guys, they can't make the shvua to the loiva, meaning right that mamish yishava shvuas yarshim. Right? So let them make that shvua and collect. Even if they can't go ahead, guys. In other words, the Gemara's kasha is like this. Good, they can't make the shvua of the loiva, let them make the shvua of the malva. What are we saying? What's our shvua? Our father did not say anything that the loan was paid up. We did not find anything in the shtar. So let them, in other words, you're making them lose. You, Rav and Shmuel, is saying, if you can't make the shvua of the loiva, then you can't make the shvua of Yisrael. Why not? Why can't you make the shvua of Yisayim? That we didn't find anything. Why not? That's what Rabbi Laz is tying. Shalchem Rabbi Laz, shvua zemativo. So why can't you make that? So he said, Shalchel lehem einachinami. Yarshim nishbayin shvuas yarshim v'nayim einachinami. They make the shvuas a yarshim and they collect. I have written down over here, since the shvua on the father was the Rabbanon, if he's dead, the shvuas ha-Yisayim is enough. Guys, watch the svara. The loiva dies. Guys, look at me. Guys, please look at me. The loiva dies. The malva's alive. The loiva dies. The malva's alive. So right now, the loiva's kids, the malva has a chiyuv to swear to the loiva's kids. Good? That's a shvua d'Rabbanan. That's a shvua d'Rabbanan. Now the malva dies. So you're telling me what? He can't be moirish this shvua to what? To his kids? That's Rav and Shmuel. Says Rebbe Laza, that shvua is only d'Rabbanan. That's true. The Rabbanan was to who? It was to the Malva. The assignment don't know anything. They know one thing. Shalai Piktenu, Shalai Matzu ben Shtarasav. Says Rebbe Laza, since that shvua was never upon them that they can't make, the father wasn't Irish them, they can make the shvua that they do have, which is a shvua that I didn't find anything that says you still don't know your father still doesn't owe my father the money. That's the svara of Rebbe Laza. So you have machlokes. In a case where Yisayimim have to make a shvua to Yisayimim, says Rav and Shmuel, you can't be moirish that shvur that the malva was chayiv to the loiva. Memela says Rabbi Laza, no, I don't agree with that. It's true that when the loiva died, the malva had to swear to him, but once the malva's out of the picture, they don't have to make that shvur. It's enough to make the shvur d'Rabbanan that they were given. Shloi Piktanu, we didn't find anything. He didn't command us. We didn't find anything, and they would collect. So that's the machlokes between Rav and Shmuel and Rabbi Laza. Now, it's very important to get Rav and Shmuel because the whole Gemara is going to go Rav and Shmuel. So again, like Rav and Shmuel, in a case where it's Yisayim to Yisayim, and the loiva predeceased the malva, so the malva was mechayev, and he dies, you can't be nourished that shvua, and therefore it's off. Sorry. Sholchu b'mei Rebbe Ami. The same question. This question was rolling about the base medrash. What's the din of Yisayim? In other words, is the halacha like Rav and Shmuel, or is the halacha like Rebbe Laza? So Amar Kula Hai, right? So in other words, Kula Hai Sholchu Lev Ozlu. Again, this question had come in front of Rav Ami all the time. So he said, somebody asked me the question so many times. If I would have come to a conclusion who the halacha is like, if I would have known, Milo Shalchinan Lu, I would have sent it to you already. Ela Amar Rav Ami, Hoyel V'Asli Yada. Since this shaila came to our hands, name of a milsa. I'll tell you something. Amad Bidin. Okay? there was a Hamada Bedin that they took shtar out on the assignment, right, on the loiva, and Bezdin told the malva to swear and take. So again, the loiva dies. There's the assignment of the loiva that creates the chiyuv of the shvua. Bezdin says to the malva swear, and then what happens? Umes, and he dies. Kvar nischayev milva lebnei loiva shvua, ve'ino the mayrish shvua lebanav. So in other words, once there was hamada bedin and the shvua is created, since they can't make that shvua, then the halacha would be like Rav and Shmuel. Lo yanma bedin, but if there's no hamada bedin, umes, then yarshin is bayin shvuas yarshin v'noitlim. Kind of a hybrid. Rav Ami is saying kind of a hybrid answer. He's saying if there was hamada bedin, the halacha is like Rav and Shmuel. If there wasn't a hamada bedin, then the halacha is like Rabbi Lazar. Makes no sense whatsoever. Hamada bedin doesn't create the shvua. The shvua is created when the guy dies. Hamada bedin. Your chiyuv to swear has nothing to do with Bezdin telling you have to swear. It has to do with the fact that the life died. There's any Yisayimim. They're not Yisayimim. Bezdin didn't pronounce them Yisayimim. The death of the father made them Yisayimim. So if you have to swear to a Yasim, that's nothing to do with Hamada Bedin. That's good for this Gemara Kasha. Guys, hear what he's saying. He's saying the following. That din that you want to say that the halacha is like Rav and Shmuel, it's, when it's halacha like when there was a chiyuv shvua and you can't be marshid. When's there a chiyuv shvua? When Bezdin told you chayiv to. If Bezdin doesn't make the shvua, the chiyuv shvua, Bezdin just carries it through. The chiyuv shvua is when the leiva died, and they're Yisayimim. And once they're Yisayimim, you got to make a shvua. Nothing to do with Bezdin. That's why the Gemara says the Gemara. Maskalar of Nachman, atu beidina kam mechayiv shvua. Bezdin's the one mechayiv a shvua to Yisayimim, guys. May idna the shachiv loiva a chayiv le malva libnei loiva shvua. As soon as what the loiva died, mechayiv the malva, and then his consequently his children. So therefore, Ella Rav Nachman says Rav Nachman Rav Nachman the Baldin the Dinei Mominus expert. He isil Rav Shmuel is Rav Shmuel Isya. He lesser. In other words, you gave this psak, guys, this hybrid psak, depending upon Mother Bedin. Hamada Bedin is like Rav Shmuel. Lo Hamada Bedin is like Rav Lazar. It's either like the Chachamim or like Rav Lazar or like Rav Shmuel or not. Okay, so we have a clear cut machlokes, and we're going to see the Gemara is going to ask a bunch of questions on Rav and Shmuel. It's going to take us most of the daf. Alma misafkole. So we see that what they're misupik, whether Allah is like Rav Shmuel or not. I've Rabbi Yosef Baminyumi of Rav Nachman uvda yechlaiku. Now you see Rav Nachman's misupik, guys, right? What was yechlaiku? Let's go back in time. Yechloku was if you don't hold Yachzer Shvulim Koima. In a case where Chashid, guys, right? In case where Chashid, then Machzir, it goes back to its place, right? Good? According to Rav and Shmuel. If you hold Yechloku, then obviously you don't hold like Rav and Shmuel. Rav Nachman said Allah is Yechloku. Fred the Gemara, how could Rav Nachman be Mesupik? You're Mesupik whether he holds like, by saying Yechloku, obviously he doesn't hold like Rav and Shmuel. Good? As I read the Gemara. Nachamal. Alma Mesafkele, Rav Nachman, whether Allah is like Rav and Shmuel, V'amar Rabbi Yosef Bar Minyumi, Ovid Rav Nachman Uvda Yechloku. On that the Gemara answers, the Devara of the Rabbi Ami, or the Rav Meir Kamalei. He was telling the words of Rav Meir, who holds Chaza Shvulim Koima, according to his Gersa change. In other words, Rav Nachman was just saying the sugya like Rav and Shmuel. This din. He doesn't hold like that. Rav Nachman, when he said whether Allah is like Rav Shmuel, is speaking according to Rav Meir. Right? But Mashenkin, he doesn't hold that way. Because he holds like Rabbi Yossi, guys. Rabbi Yossi is the one who says Yechloiku. Rabbi Yossi in the Muka'ima we spoke at yesterday. Okay. Now, Masiv Rav Oishia. We're going to ask questions, guys, what? On Rav Shmuel, it says that it's a wash, right? That since you Marisha, in other words, you have two, when you have a case like that, where you Marisha a Shvua, then you don't swear. Excuse me, not only you don't swear, you lose, that's it. Okay. Maser Rav Oishia. Okay, Mesa Yarsheha, her Yarshin Vai. She's coming to collect the ksuba, right? Now, a woman can collect the ksuba up to 25 years. Good. Now, ostensibly, it could be speaking in a case where what? Where she's an almana. Good. So if she's an almana and she dies, you have a case of what? Yarshim collecting from Yarshim. Good. If they can make a shvua, then it's a kasha Rav Shmuel. If they can make a shvua that the ksuba wasn't collected, right? Then you have a case of what? You see, you can't swear from Mesa Yarsha Maskirin Es Ksubasa Ad Esrim V'Chamesh Shanim. So l'chayre, how could they collect, fellas? It's Yarshim to Yarshim, Yisayim to Yisayim. So Hachamayaskinon Shinishbo Mesa. You know, she swore. No, they didn't swear. She swore, and then she died. So she swore. So it's not a case of Yisayim to Yisayim. It's a case of okay, Tashma. Okay, so a woman. Now, guys, this ksubas banim dichrin. That a guy won't give a dowry. If you remember this ksubas, this is one of the things that you always forget. You heard the term, but for some reason we always forget it. Ksubas banim dichrin, ksubas male children. He's going to give a dowry to his daughter, right? Give a shmaka dowry. Daughter dies, he's going to lose it, right? So what do they guarantee? It says we wrote in the ksubah, any male children that you have will inherit. So if she marries the second time, there's still a chiyuv on the second husband, not to pay off the original ksuba, right? That's ksubas banim dichrin. Good. Now, so you have Nasa Rishona, she marries Umesa, and she dies. Nasa Shniya, Umesu, and he dies. So now you have a woman collecting a ksuba, and then you have the first guys, right? Then you have the first guys. So Shniya V'Yarsha Koimin Liyarshe Harishona. The second one, the second to collect the ksuba, comes before the ksuba's banim dichrin. But you see that the second Yarshim collect, even though there's the mechayev shvua, right? So l'chayr, what do you see? Yisayim collect from Yisayim. Hachanam yishnishbo mesa. It's speaking what she swore. Tashma. Okay, this case over here is where the Baal said you can collect from me without a neder, without a shvua. Basically, he said the whole Gemara there in Pevav. We just need one nakuda from it. Avol yarshav mashbiin oisa. Yarshav, his Yarshim, Mashbiin Oisa, Vesh Yarsheha. Now it says the Yarsheha, Vesh Haboyim Birishusa. So now when it says her Yarshim, guys, and he makes them swear, it can't be speaking that the woman swore. In other words, this case, you can't give the terrace we just gave. That's the proof. And the fact that it's saying you can make her Yarshim swear, you're taking away off the board, you're taking away the ability to just give two terutzim that she swore. Right. So what do you see? You see, you can make him swear. So Amarav, Shmaya says Rav Shmaya, Litzad Nekatani. Oisa, right, is Ba'almana, even Almana, who died before the husband. Now, if she died before the husband, thus she never had a chiyuv shvua, right? V'yarsha b'gerusha, or gerusha, she should make him swear. Let's see Rashi goes over here. The last Rashi. Oisa Ba'almana. Oisa diktani yarshav mashbiin oisa that they can make her swear mitukma afilu ba'almana. It can be not only yarsham but even almana. Avoves yarsheha diktani regarding yarsheha they can make her yarsham swear. The mukila Rav Shmuel begerusha. They'll say it's speaking about gerusha. She's not dead. In gersha zeh nischayv laksubasa b'loy shvua. She's chayv to pay without a shvua. Shari Peturahi min neder or min shvua. That was the takana that he had to collect with neder shvua, but he took her off the hook. Umesa b'chayav, and she died in his lifetime. She was a gerusha and she died. Yakach mesu, and then he died. Davle mes malva b'chayav eloiva. In other words, you view the woman as the malva and the husband as the loiva. Shemeshahi yesh lamam and gomer alav b'loy shvua. In other words, when she was a gerusha before she died, there was a chiyuv money. Real money, and the fact that since there was a chiyuv money, she was a gerusha, right? Memela, there's a chiyuv mamonis over there, and she predeceases him. It's the right. Lefikach her risha lebanov v'yarsheha bain leparim yarshav tzrich l'shava. The kitnan hayisaimim la yifru ela b'shvua. So, in other words, it's not a case of yisaimim. She was a gerusha, and so why is it not yisaimim? Because there was a chiyuv mamin as soon as the husband died. So the husband died as a chi of money, and Memela, therefore it's not Shvet Rav and Shmuel. Masir Rav Nasan bar Oishya. Yafu koyach haben mi koyach ha'av. Lamed beis. Shehaben goiva bein b'shvua bein shaloi b'shvua. This, as we're going to see, the Yoirish guys, the Ben can collect with a shvua. That's going to be the problem, or without a shvua. Va'av ein goiva el b'shvua, and the father can only collect with a shvua. Heichidami. It must be speaking the meis loiva b'chayim malva, that the loiva died in the lifetime of the malva. Guys, that's why the father needs a shvua, right? Va'av ein goiva. In other words, the case it has to be speaking the case where the loiva died before, because you need a parallel case where he's going to, right, they're going to swear and he's not going to swear. What's that case? Right? In other words, what's the case that he's going to have to swear? It must be that the loiva died. Because then his kids are Yisayimim. Guys, again, how do you know this case is speaking, fellas, where the loiva died? Because it says that he's going to have to swear. Why would he have to swear to collect? It must be that what? That Habala Parim Nechse Yisayimim Lein Nefel B'Shvua. So now, so it's speaking, and V'Katani, Shah Ben Goiva, Ben B'Shvua, Ben Shalai B'Shvua. Now, what's the case? B'Shvua, Shvuas Yarshim, the Shvuas Yarshim, not like Rav and Shmuel, that you collect the Shvuas Yarshim that, you know, that the father in Paktanu, we don't find the stars. Ushalai B'Shvua, Reb Shimon Gamliel. Reb Shimon says you have Eidim, you don't have to swear. Reb Shimon Gamliel says you have Eidim, you don't have to swear. So l'char you have a kash on Rav and Shmuel. Of course, it says they can collect with the shvua. It's Yisayimim from Yisayimim, because we know clearly it's a case of what? Of the lover dying before when he said the father has to make a shvua. So I'm Rabbi Yosef, money is Beis Shammai. The time of this price is Beis Shammai. Damar shtaro oimid ligvois is kagavi dami. So even if the loiva died in the lifetime of the malva, the Yerusha of the malva is of the milva. The Yarshim of the milva can collect. They can collect because they consider it collected already, right? So so guys, in other words, if you view the loan as it's in a star as collected already, so Memela, he by dying, the Malva is bequeathing not a shvua to his Yarshim, he's bequeathing money to his Yarshim. That's the chiddush of this case. Guys, he's bequeathing not a shvua, he's bequeathing actual money. They have to make a shvua because of the takana, right? But the whole shaila, guys, is what? Is when you moirish a shvua. You're not being moirish a shvua over here. What are you being moirish? You're being moirish money. You're being moirish money. Okay, Geshmak. Now, much easier now. Ikla of Nachman L'Sura. So again, what we have the machloikis, guys. What's the machloikis? Like Rav and Shmuel, no shvua. Because you're moirish shvua, you can't collect. Like Rebbe Laza, you make the shvuas how you sign what we're calling the shvuas of the malva, and they collect. Ikla Rav Nachman L'Sura. Oil legabe Rav Chisda v'Rabba Rav Huna. So the great Rav Nachman came to Surah. Again, Rav Nachman is the expert in Dinei Mamonis. He shows up came to Surah, and Rav Chisda and Rabba Rav Huna came to greet him. Amalei, they told Rav Nachman, Leisei Mar Nekra Loha the Rav and Shmuel. Let's go and be oiked Aloha Rav and Shmuel, and that the assignment should be able to collect the Shvuas assignment. Amalahu Ich believe Asi Kol Hani Parson Nekra Loha Rav and Shmuel. You think I got up and traveled all the way to be like Rav and Shmuel? I'm not going to go get rid of Rav and Shmuel that easily. Ella havu delay loisif Allah. It's enough that what we don't add on to it. In other words, guys, Rav and Shmuel's case was a very exact case. Yisayim to Yisayim. So let's not make a mistake and draw from that when we can make a distinction. So in other words, if we make a distinction, let's be careful. So in other words, not to make a mistake. Kigoin mai, dom Rav Papa, ha poigim eshtaroi. Guys, poigim eshtar. Right? The mixas, the shtar says 150, whatever it is. Ksuba, poigim, the case in the mission is poigim is ksuba, poigim eshtar. Ha poigim eshtaroi, umeis, and now he dies. So now, he was mechuyev shvua to the Malva, right? The Malva was claiming 100. He said 50. He agreed that the shtar is 50. And so now, umeis, Yarshim nishbayin shvuas Yarshim. They swear the shvuas Yarshim, v'noitlin, and they go ahead what? And they would collect. So you would not say in that case this is Yusaimim collecting from Yusaimim. Let's see Rashi over here. Hisminu atzbechem shlei lilmoid mimenu b'makam acher. Imamru b'shvuas habali par m'nechsei Yusaimim she'ena moirish eisol lebanav. Imeis loiva b'chayim malva al talamdenu mimenu hamichuyiv shvua acheres. Don't learn from it a different shvua. Umefarish hashas kegoyin hadam ra papa hapoigim shtaroi shehoida bebezdin sheniskabel ktsas, that he already accepted part of the payment of the star. V'tanan lo yifro es star ela b'shvua. The imes Yarshim Nishboyin Shvuas Yarshim V'Noitlin V'Le'avdinam Ba Karabu Shmuel. The Ami Eino the Moirish Shvuah Lebanov. In other words, this Shvuah, don't learn that this Shvuah you can't be Moirish. This Shvuah they can make the Shvuah and collect. Don't say, in other words, what are you going to say the following, guys? Guy shows up. He's got a star. He's paying the star, and now he's the loiva, the guy with the star. He dies. So you're going to say that they can't collect from them? Because they make a shvuah and they collect. They make a shvuah collect. It's not a similar case. So don't learn from that. And another case that is similar to that, but doesn't look similar to that. Next case, Hahu the Shachiv, a guy died. Shavik Arva. So he died. The Loiva died first, the Malva died second, but there's an Arev. So the Malva died first, the Loiva died first, then the Malva dies, so you have a Shvuah to a Shvuah situation. But who are they going to collect from? So now, Savra Papalamema, Hanami Dalaisavalla. He said, 1 second, they're not going to collect from the Loiva, they're going to collect from the Arev, right? So in that case, what? They should be able to swear and collect. So Amalei Rav Huna Breid of Shua Lura Papa, Atu Arva Lav Basa Yasmi Azle. If you're going to collect from the Arev, who's he going to go after? The Simon. So in Mela, that is Rav and Shmuel. In other words, the first case was a case that's not similar to Rav and Shmuel. The second case is a case that's similar to Rav and Shmuel. Since you're going to collect from the the Arev, right? The Arev is going to collect from the Yisaimim, so it's Yisaimim to Yisaimim. Therefore, the next case. Ahu the Shavik, the Shachiv, he died. The Shavik Acha. So you have a Malva Loiva. The Loiva dies first, and there's a Malva dies. But the Loiva has no sons. He has only a brother. Sava Rami Archam Lameimar, Hanami Dolilaisava. Right? That's the case that what they should be able to make a shvuah. So Amalei Rava. Mali Shaloi Piktenu Abba. What's the difference if what? I guess the brother is of the Malva. It's the brother of the Malva. Mali Shaloi Piktani Abba, that was paid up. Mali Shaloi Piktani Achi, that was paid up. So this is the case of Rav and Shmuel. Rav Chama. Hashd lo yitma hilchasa. Loi karavu Shmuel, v'loi kareb Elaza. Hai daina the Ovid karavu Shmuel, Avad. The Ovid Kamara Elaza, Avad. It's very interesting. Usually Machlokes Rav and Shmuel, like Rabbi Elaza, who was a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan. You would say, you see that they grappled with this case. You see early Gemara, the question was who's the halacha according to, they were ding-zink with this. So now, if you hold like Rav and Shmuel, like Rav and Shmuel, hold like Rabbi Elaza, in other words, whichever way you're going to pass him, we're not going to say Yitavid Vanishna. Amra Papa, Hai Shtar the Yasmi, therefore a star, you have a star of Yisaimim, like to collect, like Mikra Karina, don't rip it up. You know why? Because maybe you'll find a dying who holds like Rabbi Elaza. However, Agbuya Magbina baby, you can't collect with it. Agbuya like Magbina baby, Dilmas like Rabbi Shmuel. Umikra like Karina like the Hadaina the Avik Elaza Avad. Maybe you find a dying also like Rabbi Elaza. Who dying the Avik Rabbi Elaza? There was a dying that held like Rabbi Elaza. Having Sumr Rabbanon b'Masa, there was a young Talmud Chacham in the city. Amalei Asainu Igrasim in Marava, the less hilchas like Rabbi Elaza. Bring me a raya from Eretz Yisrael. The halachas not like Rabbi Elaza. Amalei l'chitesi, when you bring it, don't threaten me. Asa kamei Rav Chama. Amalei Hai Daina Davik Rabbi Elaza. If you do like Rabbi Elaza, you did it. Okay, so Yitzim Reinu, we're not coming to a conclusion. Because now let's finish. Let's hop a little more. We get a long Mishnah on Mem Hey. So we said that Taisvis Ketzitza. Okay, Taisvis Ketzitza. right after Shimon Gamliel, Lim Yesh Eidim Shama Ab B'Shas Misasher Shtar Zeina Peruah Hunato Shal B'Shua. Ve'elun Nishboyin Shaloi B'Taina. And these are the ones who swear without a taina. Hashutvin, Varisin, Vabutrapin, partners and sharecroppers and people given power of attorney, and a woman who deals in business for the kids, or the Ben Bias, or a brother who deals. So now, read the words, guys. These swear without a taina. Meaning, no one's going ahead and making a claim and he's coming to swear. Fred the Gemara. Fred the Gemara. Elunish Bayin. Atu Pishiftani Askina. Are we dealing with fools? Well, a guy's going to go ahead and swear without a taina? It makes no sense. So Achi Kamar. Elunish Bayin Shalei B'Tain is Bari. Oh, usually you have to swear when a guy says for sure. Now, these people, they can make on a suffix, I'm not sure, but my brother who's dealing in business, or my mother who's dealing in business, or my shutif who's dealing in business, or Apatrap is dealing in business, they may be skimming off the top. They may be taking a little bit. You can make them swear. Al suffix. The Elun Ishboyin, Beloy Taina is Bori. Betaina suffix, yeah. El Betaina Shema. Hashutvin Varisin. Tana, Ben Bias, Sha'amru, the Ben Bias that's under discussion, that you're going to make swear, that you make him swear even though with a tiny suffix. He doesn't have to physically be doing the work. He hires the workers. Or he hires workers, but he doesn't have to do it. Why are these people themselves, why can you make them swear on a tiny suffix? Right, the shutfin, the apachapis, the brother, the mother. Because the Gemara had to, listen, we're working hard, take a little bit. Rabbi Yosef, I'll tell you a very interesting thing. I worked for Kedem. Kedem used to tell you before Shabbos, they say, well, take 2 bottles. They would tell you to take 2 bottles. Because I once asked the owner, he said, listen, I know the guys work the whole week. They're going to take one anyway, so might as well take it willingly rather. Because that's the svara. You wouldn't think you're stealing. You think it's very funny, Magila. You rationalize it comes to you, right? Yeah. Anyway.
You need a lawyer?
Okay. Amar Rabbi Yosef Bar Yumi Rav Nachman, Ushiesh Taina Beinayu, this Taina suffix has to have an amount. Shtei kesef. It has to be at least Shtei kesef. Read the Gemara, Kaman Kishmuel. Now we had Machlokes guys early in the more difficult parak, right? When you make the claim of Moedav and Mixas, does the claim have to be 2 or the kfir has to be in 2? Does it mean the claim has to be more? So when it says over here the claim has to be 2, it's much like Shmuel, not like Rav, right? However, the Allah is like Rav b'dinei mamanis, right? Okay, says the Gemara, yeah, is that true? Yeah. Anyway, v'ushesh tayin b'nai shtei kesef kaman kishmuel, but Tani Rav Chia l'siyur l'Rav, Rav Chia brought a riot to Rav, so ema kfir tainas karav. Don't say don't say the taina has to be 2 kesef. It has to be you denying 2 kesef. It has to be denying 2 kesef. We'll stop over here. But tomorrow, Bez Hashem, we're going to finish the Masechta, fellas. Be nice to see